Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Friday, I want to explain to you what this Carbon Cycle Lab is about. This is a standard assessment that all freshmen will work on. You guys will be doing it remotely. Most students did it earlier in the year in class. Pay really good attention to the video. We're going to give you lots of tips and tricks on how to get the most points possible and the most learning out of this. The first thing that you need to do is read. I've given you a pretty dense background reading. It's only one page, as well as a diagram that I need you to really understand. Read through this. If you want to print it out, if you want to take notes on it, if you want to write a triple layer triangle about it, I think that's a really good idea. Because based off of this reading, I have asked 3 questions in red that are preliminary questions. These are background information questions that are graded, that are going to kind of help you understand where this lab is coming from. Now, the actual lab itself is linked right here in blue. And the general gist of it is we're going to change some parameters on the Earth, and we're going to see what happens to the amount of carbon that goes either into the atmosphere or into the ocean. We're going to change those parameters in one of 2 ways. We can either A, increase our fossil fuel usage, all right? And that is by driving more trucks, having more power plants, things of that nature. Or we can change by B, deforestation. And deforestation is just a fancy way to say cutting down the trees. So by either changing the amount of fossil fuel we put into the atmosphere and the oceans, or by changing the amount of trees that can get rid of that stuff, we're going to modify what the Earth is doing. We're going to keep clicking run decade over and over and over again to see what those simulations are. The simulation is going to tell us 2 things. Number 1, it's going to tell us the year that certain things happen. And number 2, it's going to tell us how much carbon is actually in the atmosphere when it happens. Now, I'm going to turn the floor over to my lovely daughter, Chloe. She is going to show you how to do this lab.
Okay, so first, what you have to do is you have to change how you change the variables is we have it at 2 right now, which we need to have it at for the data table. So we need fossil fuel 2 and deforestation at 1, which we have. And like Dad said, we just have
Now, hold on one second, Chloe. Before we get going, let's reset this. Okay? Where is all the carbon right now?
It's all on the ground, but when we keep pressing run decade, it goes up into the air, into the atmosphere, and into the ocean.
Perfect. Continue.
And then, so the next thing you need to do is you need to find the coordinates for the goal limit year and the goal limit carbon amount. So we have it between 2050 and 50 and 550. So okay. So
hold on, Chloe. It seems to me that the goal limit is where the dark gray line crosses the orange line.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it's also between 2060 and 5065.
Okay.
So okay. And then what we want. So we want to make an estimate. So it would be between 2050 and 2060. So let's say about 2055 for the goal limit year.
So that is the year we're going to reach the goal limit?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the carbon amount, well, let's just say it's about 555.
And what's that? How much carbon is in the atmosphere when we reach that point?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the trend line decrease is up here. So it's 21, 20. So, and then the trend line decrease carbon amount is 1355. Okay. So now
notice, Chloe, When we have reached the end of the line, how much carbon is in the ground?
0.
And where did it all go?
It went into the atmosphere and into the ocean.
All right, let's do the second line of the data table.
Okay, so you click reset, and then you have to change the fossil fuel to 3 and the deforestation and keep it at 1. So 3. So the next thing that we're going to do is now we're going to keep clicking run decade. Okay, and then so it's about 2050. Okay. And then 550. And then for the trend line decrease, we are at 2100. And then 1433. And then we click restart and we do it over again. Note that all of these columns have to be filled out.
Hi, Reed. So once you've got all of these columns and rows filled out, changing your variables, paying close attention and only changing one variable at a time. Based off of this data and based off of your background reading, you can answer these 4 analysis questions. I'm looking for 2 things in these data analysis questions. I am looking for actual data that you found, so I'm looking for some numbers, and I am looking for knowledge that you read about up here. So you're combining what you're reading and what you calculated to give me full, complete answers. Full, complete answers. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to email me at any time. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. One thing that I would like to mention is please be clear in your subject line. I'm getting over 100 emails at a time. And if your subject line is not clear, it makes it a lot easier for me to kind of skip over it, and there's a greater chance of me missing it. So be very clear in your subject line what you need from me. That way I can be a little more efficient in getting back to you. One more reminder, over to Reed.
This project is due Wednesday, April 29th at 11 a.m.
Don't be late.